From the fantasy armchair, it is the Fantasy TyRant.
Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. Welcome back to the Fantasy Armchair. I came back home to Portland this time because I was expecting a package. And it already came this morning. You see right here, some maximum strength throat gargle. And this is going to be big because this is something many of you have been asking for. Alright, you ready? Let's see if this works. Wow, this thing's been in my throat for like God knows how long. Hey, how do I sound now, everyone? Sounding better? You like it? Is this good? Alright. Good to be rid of this guy then. So now that we have that out of the way, I want to apologize to you all for the delay in my shows recently. There's been some major issues here at home with my family and stuff like that. I want to keep it private for now. Now I'm okay and everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about that. But the result is that I don't have my sleepers and busts for every other position other than the running backs. Hopefully you've seen those ones already. I've had to take some extra time to work and tend to these issues. So what I'm going to do instead is do you all a little favor. I'm going to show you my top 200 overall player rankings, and I'll go in depth with the guys I like a lot better than ADP and the guys I like a lot less than ADP. That way you get your sleepers, you get your busts, you get it all. Every position, top 200. Now you might be saying, hey, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, because it is, numbnuts. You have any idea how long it takes to properly comb over and analyze every nook and cranny of the NFL? Trying to find all those fantasy gems that make my show stand out from the rest. I go out on a limb, unlike those so-called experts. And that's why my accuracy is far above theirs. Hey, but I also know that while that information is no easy task to gather and report, it's a lot to consume as well. So I'll be splitting this into 6 different episodes. So if you need help with only certain areas of the draft, or you only want to watch a little bit at a time, hey, I got you covered. Easy enough? Cool. Now before we get started with my top 20, please like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss an episode. Alright, here we go. Nothing too crazy really. I have Amon Ra St. Brown higher than most people, simply because he's been a solid and consistent wide receiver over the past couple years, and he's gone up in ranking each year from wide receiver 21 to wide receiver 7 to last year as the wide receiver 3. The Lions' offense hasn't changed much, and if anything, it's addition by subtraction, as the departure of Josh Reynolds will open up even more targets. While I expect a breakout season from Jameson Williams, a heavy helping of Sam Laporta, and sprinklings of Khalif Raymond, the Sun God will benefit as well. This is a potent, high-scoring offense, so there'll be no shortage of opportunities. And while there's a hell of a rapport and chemistry between St. Brown and Jared Goff, there's no big threat to the Sun God's production like Jamar Chase has. And the QB situation is stable, unlike in Minnesota. You may think I'm crazy for having Amon Ra over Chase and Jeffy, but you know what? I am crazy. Crazy like a fox. Yeah, I've got Travis Etienne ranked up pretty high here. I've been a fan of this guy coming out of college and was speaking his praises even after a Liz Frank injury slashed his rookie season. And the bounce back has been nothing short of spectacular. In 2022, he was the running back 17, and last season, he broke out as the running back 3. The Jaguars' offense, led by quarterback Trevor Lawrence, will be better and more efficient with more playmakers at T-Law's disposal, namely rookie standout Brian Thomas. The Tank Bigsby threat last season was a non-issue, and the workhorse workload belongs to Etienne. The only knock on this guy is his efficiency at a paltry 3.8 yards per attempt. But what makes up for a lack of efficiency? Volume! And Etienne had the 4th most carries in the league last season, while only scoring the 7th most touchdowns. So I'm not expecting a touchdown regression, rather much of the same. And a lot of that inefficiency can be chalked up to poor run blocking, as the Jags ranked bottom 10 in that category last season. While they haven't done a whole lot to address that issue from a roster standpoint, other than fourth-round rookie right tackle Javon Foster, their O-line is still fairly young, and with another year together to gel and another training camp and preseason, I think they put out at least a mediocre effort rather than an abysmal one. And that could be enough to get Etienne over the 4 yards per carry mark. On top of that, he's proficient in the pass game, catching the 6th most balls among running backs last season and posting the 8th best yards per reception among running backs with at least 30 receptions. And yet, he only caught 1 touchdown all season, so there's even room to improve there. So when you consider all of that, it seems absolutely fucking nutballs that he's going as the running back 9 in drafts this season in the late 2nd to early 3rd round, sometimes even as late as the 4th round in some drafts. Even the so-called experts on Fantasy Pros have him ranked as an end of the 2nd round pick. I think he's the perfect guy to take if you're at the turn of your draft. Like, if you can snag him and Puka at the turn, get him. Drake London and Chris Olave are for some reason like Bert and Ernie in my drafts. They're always right there, right next to each other, practically inseparable. Drafters and experts alike are starting to get close to my ranks for these guys, but I like them just a bit more than average. London and Olave are currently going as 11 and 12 respectively, both in drafts and according to the experts. I have them as the wide receiver 9 and 10. It's not a huge jump like when I was first putting this list together, but I needed something on the first page, damn. They're still being drafted outside the top 20, so I still think I'm higher on them and proud to be so. They both developed well over the past couple years, and I think they'll both break out this season. And with no weird looming Uncle Thomas around, Olave will be confident as the clear wide receiver 1 and go-to offensive weapon for the Saints. With targets vacated and the running backs getting older, the offense will run through Olave. As for Drake, he finally has a competent QB, and with a new emphasis on the passing game in Atlanta, thanks to the arrival of Kirk Cousins, as well as Michael Penix waiting in the wing, and the departure of Arthur Smith, thank God. The talk has been big around Falcons camp that Drake London and Kyle Pitts are going to explode this season. I'm hopping on both the Olave and London trains as both are in for a huge uptick in production. And considering both only had 4 receiving touchdowns on the season in 2023, their numbers are sure to go up. Assuming good health, I see both these guys looming around the top 10 wide receiver range. And one more guy I want to talk about this episode is Deebo Samuel. All of the talk this offseason for the 49ers has been about their star wide receiver, but maybe the wrong one. The whole Brandon Ayuk, will he, won't he be traded, will he sign, won't he sign saga, that's been filling the headlines. But I think Deebo Samuel is the wide receiver to covet for the 49ers. I've been saying this for years and been right for years. Deebo's the guy. Each season, experts and drafters alike are taking Ayuk over Deebo, except for me. And over the last 3 seasons, Deebo's been the better wide receiver in points per game. So while Ayuk is fluffing his plumage after getting that big contract, Deebo's the real cock of the walk. He's currently being ranked as the wide receiver 19, 1 spot below Ayuk. What about another year on the same team with more experience together and an even more improved Brock Purdy and Deebo fully healthy makes you think this guy isn't the top 12 wide receiver? Get out of here. Go get Deebo in the 3rd round and have a wide receiver 1 as your wide receiver 2 or 3. Thank me later. Alright, well that was a rather short one and pretty positive Pete. But chances are, if you look above my head, you'll see a link to the next episode, as I'll be dropping those here and there all throughout the weekend. Now, if you're watching this fresh off the presses, don't worry, another one's coming up shortly. And we've already had a big change happen in this episode, so you never know what crazy changes might happen episode to episode. All to help take another step forward in helping you all crush your league. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss an episode. And share this with everyone, even those weird league mates who choose nothing but running backs for the first 10 rounds. Hey, they need my help. Anyway, check out the next episode. I'm out. Peace.